Long before the world learned its shape, before time learned how to move forward, there existed two great beings who had always been there and would always remain. One lived above all things, stretching endlessly without boundary. The other lived below all things, holding depths no one could measure. They were known simply as the sky and the sea. The sky was vast beyond understanding. He carried light across the world and painted it with color. In the mornings, he welcomed the sun and guided it gently upward. At night, he scattered stars across his body like ancient stories written in light. He watched over everything in silence, never touching, never resting, always present. The sea was deep beyond memory. She held the world's weight in her arms and cradled life within her depths. She welcomed rivers without question and returned clouds to the sky through quiet evaporation. She remembered everything that had ever fallen into her embrace, every tear, every dream, every forgotten hope. Though they were separated by distance, they were never unaware of one another. Each day, the sky looked down and watched the sea move. He admired how she changed with the moon, how her surface shimmered or darkened, how her waves spoke in rhythms older than language. And the sea looked up. She observed how the sky shifted endlessly, how he could be calm and clear or filled with storm and shadow. She admired his freedom, how nothing could confine him. Slowly, without warning, something began to change. The sky started lingering longer at dawn, letting the sun rise slowly so he could watch the sea glow. The sea began holding the moon more gently at night, so the sky could see her clearly reflected in her waves. Neither knew what this feeling was at first. It was unfamiliar. It was quiet. It was powerful. It was longing. The sky felt it when clouds gathered without reason, when light softened as if reluctant to move on. The sea felt it when tides rose higher than necessary, when waves reached upward as if searching for something unseen. One morning, as the sun lifted itself from the horizon and painted the world in gold, the sea noticed the sky leaning lower than usual. His light lingered upon her surface, warmer, brighter, more attentive. And in that moment, the silence between them finally broke. From that day forward, they began to share themselves. The sky spoke through light and shadow, through wind that traveled across the sea's surface, carrying stories of distant stars and faraway skies. He spoke of constellations born and faded, of endless nights filled with quiet wonder. The sea answered through movement and reflection, through waves that shimmered and tides that shifted. She spoke of the lives she carried, of creatures that glowed in darkness, of songs sung deep beneath her surface where no light had ever reached. They learned each other slowly. They learned that the sky was restless but gentle, endlessly curious yet careful. They learned that the sea was powerful but patient, ancient yet endlessly giving. And as time moved forward, something deeper formed between them. Love. It did not arrive suddenly. It grew like the tide, steady and inevitable. It lived in the way the sky softened his storms near the sea. Yet love brings questions, even to eternal beings. The sea wondered why the sky always remained just beyond reach. The sky wondered why the sea could never rise without limits. The sky knew that if he fell too close, he would lose his vastness. The sea knew that if she rose too high, she would spill beyond her purpose and destroy the land she protected. Still, love is not easily restrained. One night, beneath a full moon that hung low and silent, the sea made a choice born of longing. She wished to feel the sky, not as light, not as reflection, but as presence. And the sky, feeling her longing through the air itself, leaned down farther than he ever had before. Clouds gathered thick and heavy. The horizon darkened as the distance between them slowly closed. The sea rose to meet him. Waves climbed higher, stretching toward the sky with all the strength she possessed. The wind roared between them, and thunder echoed like the heartbeat of the world. For a moment, everything else ceased to matter, and then they touched. Rain fell like joy released at last. Sky and sea merged at the horizon in a moment so powerful that the world itself trembled. But the world was fragile. Mountains felt the weight of endless rain. Rivers overflowed their paths. Creatures fled in fear as land began to break under the force of their union. The sky saw the destruction first. His love turned to fear. With a heavy heart, he pulled himself away. The sea felt the land slipping from her embrace and lowered herself once more. The storm slowly faded. Silence returned, but it was no longer empty. It was filled with understanding. They understood that love does not always mean staying close. Sometimes, love means protecting the world between two hearts. And so they made a promise. They would meet at the edge of the world. Every evening, the sky would reach down as far as he safely could. He would paint himself in colors of longing and devotion, gold, rose, violet, and fire. And the sea would wait. She would rise gently, not too far, not too fast, and she would reflect every color perfectly, holding the sky's image within her waves. That promise became the sunset. From that day forward, every sunset carried their story. Storms still came, but they were no longer reckless. And even now, when the world grows still, the sky still watches the sea, and the sea still looks up at the sky. They have never forgotten each other. They simply learned how to love in a way that allowed the world to endure. And that is why, no matter where you stand on earth, the sky always leans toward the sea at the horizon, and the sea always reaches back, shimmering with reflected light.